I'm Joe DiVincenzo, Essex County Executive. Welcome to another edition of Inside Essex County. Today we have another great program that we will be showing, talking about seniors, talking about a little bit about history in the city of Newark, and also talking about our famous Turtleback Zoo here in Essex County. Today I have two guests with me, Pastor Veronica Horn. I want to welcome you to Inside Essex County, and also to Claude Davis.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And these two young people were honored during our Senior Citizen Older American Month, which was celebrated in May, and they're our two Essex County Legend Award winners. And we want to thank you for being on the show. In Essex County, we have a very large population of seniors, and what we've done for the last 9 years here in Essex County is really paid attention to our seniors because they've worked so hard for all of us to put us where we are today. And we have a great director, Jackie DeVore, who's done an outstanding job as far as providing services 365 days a year, whether it's transportation, whether it's just activities just like this, whether it's our Writing Legacy program that we have, or honoring seniors for outstanding work that they've done in the community. Okay, Claude, we'll start with you. We'll save Pastor Horn for the cleanup hitter, we'll call, because we have a lot to talk about. Claude, why don't you just tell the people of Essex County where you live, where you reside?
Presently, I live in Irvington, and I've been there for 33 or 34 years.
Have you always been an Essex County resident?
No, I migrated from Alabama.
All right, we accept you. We'll accept you then. That's okay.
Well, I came from Alabama to New Brunswick in Middlesex County.
Okay.
And from there, I moved to Newark, and from Newark, I moved to Irvington, where I presently live.
And what was your work?
I worked for the Ford Motor Company in Edison.
Wow.
For 38 years.
Great.
Yeah, I worked there as a laborer on the lines and things like that, and also as a union rep. The last 18 years of my service there was as a union rep for the United Auto Workers, which was sometimes good, sometimes hectic. But nevertheless, I made it. It was a very good thing.
But some of the work that you've done as far as helping the young Masons that you're very involved in, why don't you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, well, I've been in that organization since 1957, and I've been elevated to as high as the Grand Master of the state of New Jersey in this fraternity. Oh, it's kind of hard to just mention all of the things, but I focus mostly on honesty, respect, and the ability to try and live a type of life that younger people would be inspired or want to follow.
But you served as a mentor to these younger Masons that were working their way up?
Yes, even now I do that even now. Yes. And I try to inspire young people to stay off the streets, do the proper thing, do the things that, some of the things similar to what I did when I was a young boy that kept me out of trouble. So I try to encourage them to follow lines like that. And I've been pretty successful thus far in Essex County, as you would say.
How about with the seniors and stuff? I mean, I know you help the young Masons. I know you've been involved in your community, but also with seniors. You're always there helping them.
Yes, from time to time we have fed senior citizens on Thanksgiving days and stuff like things like that. And I've contributed to some of the programs that they have there in Irvington as far as senior citizens. With the Chamber of Commerce, they did things. So we came there and represented the senior citizens and did things to help them with that in that program.
Wow.
But all in all, you know, I tried to do something that not only would impress younger people, but even the people as old as me, wherever I can be of help to them. Advice, I try to give them advice that I think would be suitable for whatever the occasion might be that they're confronted with.
Well, you know, you're no question a role model, Claude, and we really appreciate everything that you continue to do to improve, to help the young Masons, but also to be a role model for our young people and also for seniors.
Thank you so very much.
Now this young woman here, Pastor Horn.
Yes.
Your acceptance speech that day.
Yes.
You know, we all heard your speech. You all motivated us there.
Yes.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, where you live and where you reside and some of the things
I
you do.
live in Newark on South 18th Street.
And how long have you lived in Newark?
About 48 years now.
And where prior before Newark?
Pardon me?
Where were you?
I lived in Trenton.
Trenton?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. I ran from Trenton almost 48 years ago. I was running for my life.
Running for your life.
Yes. A gentleman was out to kill me.
Is that right?
And I hit this city without shoes on my feet.
Well,
And I've been running ever since.
that's why everybody looks up to you, Pastor Horn. Why don't you tell about your family and
Yes. Well, I'm married. I just celebrated 33 years of marriage.
I've been married longer than you.
Yeah.
34 years.
I've been married 33 years.
That's great.
And I have 2 sons. I had a daughter. We lost our daughter about 15 years ago. And I have 2 sons. And I also have a ministry called In the Hands of a Woman for homeless and hurting women. I dropped out of school at the age of 15 and I started drinking alcohol and became an alcoholic by the time I was 25 and prostitute in the city of Newark. And it just went downhill. But somebody told me about Jesus. He turned my life around. And as I said, I've been running ever since. But I've been running in the right direction. And I went back to school, committed myself to get my diploma, got that, got hired with the Newark Board of Education, worked there for 15 years. My peers tell me all the time, say, you a young senior.
You're pretty hard to keep up with.
Yes, I am. I enjoy what I do. I'm grateful, and I'm thankful that I have the energy and the passion to do what I do. And because I was once homeless and mixed up in my head in the streets, that's where my passion lies. With men, women, boys, girls.
When you come out, when you were speaking that day, and you were talking about the same exact thing you were talking about
Yes.
today, about your past and
Yes.
where you have done with yourself.
Yes.
I mean, I motivated all of us, but for our seniors,
Yes.
talking to them, and
Yes.
you tell them your story.
Yes, I
What's
do.
their response?
Their response is, if you can do it, I can do it. I was just invited. Receiving this award has really opened doors for me. I was invited to the Pennington Court by some seniors to come and do a senior Bible study. I just did my first one, which was past Wednesday, and it was beautiful. They told me, said, you really motivated us. We had such a good time. We laughed at senior jokes and had cake and punch. It was just wonderful. Let them know that this is not the end. You have so much, you're a wealth of knowledge. Seniors have so much to offer.
Well, both to Claude and to Pastor Horn, I want to thank you, first of all, for being on our show. And you're 2 fantastic people. You're 2 role models, not only for seniors, but also for young people, for everyone. You have a great message.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
it was great to honor you. In our senior population, like I said, in Essex County, there's no question, it's very large. And we can never do enough. And we work very, very hard at what we do. And I know Jackie DeVore works hard.
Yes.
In fact,
Oh,
what we
yes.
did was,
Yes.
one of the things what we did do is, because her department is getting larger and larger, we actually moved her out of 50 South Clinton, and we moved them up to 900 Bloomfield Avenue in Verona, where she really has some beautiful offices there, and the staff loves it. And you know, it's easy for people to get to because it's right on the avenue. And she's doing a great job. And this is just one of the programs that we do. The next one, by the way, is our Senior Wellness Day, you know, and that's in September.
Yes, in September.
And we're going to look for your participation to be
yes.
part of what we do.
Yes, yes.
So to you, Claude, thank you for being on the
Thank
show.
you.
I really
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Yes.
Thank you,
Thank
Pastor
you.
Horn,
Thank
for everything
you.
that you've
Thank
done.
you.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Johnson, it's time to start saving.
This savings wake-up call is brought to you by your friends at Choose to Save.
I'd like to welcome my next guest here to Inside Essex County, Guy Sterling, we call him our Essex County historian, but more our Newark historian. Also, he was a former writer for the Star Ledger, but most important, he's my friend. I would like to welcome you, Guy, to Inside Essex County. He's been our partner here in Essex County as far as making sure that we don't forget our history, whether it's in Newark and Essex County, and whether it is the celebration or the building of a beautiful bronze statue of Chief Justice Brennan that we have on the steps now of our Hall of Records. Not only thanks to you, but also thanks to the people who contribute to make that possible. But we're here to talk about the seat of Lincoln. And this was another one of your ideas that we should celebrate this particular statue because of what it stands for and what Abraham Lincoln stood for. So why don't you talk about that?
Okay, well, this past Memorial Day, May 30th, was the 100th anniversary of the unveiling and dedication of the seated Lincoln statue in front of the historic Essex County Courthouse. The statue sits at the apex of Springfield Avenue and Market Street, and it's a very well-known statue, not just for the people of Newark, but throughout the United States. The case could be made that this is the most celebrated Lincoln statue outside of the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., and I think the case could be made pretty easily. So it was dedicated on Memorial Day, which was also May 30th of 1911, and it drew a crowd of, according to newspaper estimates, between 25 and 40,000 people, which at the time was the largest draw for a public sculpture in the United States. It was people came out to see this statue like they had never done anywhere before in the United States, and a couple reasons for that. One, obviously, it was because it was a statue of Abraham Lincoln, but also because the keynote speaker of the dedication ceremony was Teddy Roosevelt, who had just left the presidency a couple years before, and he was an enormously popular figure, and people wanted to come out and to hear what he had to say. And it was quite an event, and really a watershed event in Newark's history, and if not really New Jersey's history as well, because there were a couple people who walked away from the event that day, though you won't find this in the history books, who said that Teddy Roosevelt, as a result of the incredible reception he received in Newark that day, decided to run for the presidency again in 1912, which turned out to be probably the most interesting presidential election we've had, certainly one of the most interesting presidential elections we had, and it all started right there in Newark downtown on Memorial Day 1911. The statue itself was the work of one of America's great sculptors, Gutzon Borglum, who has a number of pieces around the country. He has 4 pieces in Newark, most known for doing the 4 presidential heads at Mount Rushmore in South Dakota, including Teddy Roosevelt and Lincoln, Jefferson and Washington as well. Was very proud of this seated Lincoln piece. Said afterwards, wrote in a letter that that this was a piece he didn't really regard it as public art, as public sculpture. He regarded it as art, and it said there was no piece that he ever did in his life that was as close to his heart as the seated Lincoln statue, and it was a tremendous hit from the time it was unveiled. And for years and years afterwards, this image was used on plates and buttons, and I brought a pair of bookends in with me to show that this image of Lincoln is more duplicated than even the statue of Lincoln at the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. So we're very proud of it. And a number of cities throughout the country have duplicated this statue with their own sculptors, but we have the original, and we're incredibly proud of it.
Well, let me just tell you something. Growing up in the 60s, my mother and father, we didn't even have a car. My mother and father didn't drive. Everything was transportation. We had to take 2 buses to get to downtown Newark. Of course, downtown Newark in the 60s was a great place, and still a great place. We used to go to, of course, Bamberger's. But from Bamberger's, what we had to do was always go up to take our family picture at Lincoln,
Yes.
at the statue. It was just like the cherry blossoms during
Yes.
Easter. You had to go take your picture there.
Absolutely.
And what I like to do now is go to the clip.
I am so pleased to know that Lincoln's presence in the city is clear, is present, and still drives our convictions to make this nation more true.
Borglum could not have known when his statue of President Lincoln was unveiled 100 years ago what the 20th century would make of Lincoln, the Lincoln he so obviously admired. But our collective affection for President Lincoln caught up with his. Over the years and the decades that were to follow 1911, the monumentalized Lincoln would become at once iconic and a reminder of the nation's unfinished business.
I vividly recall that first Easter Sunday I spent in Newark. My husband and I taking our then two little girls to the Hall of Records right behind you, and on those steps we took pictures. We then crossed and sat with our daughters on the lap of the statue of Abraham Lincoln. And in awe, I marveled at the lifelike face of one of the greatest presidents, and not ever having an idea that one day, I would be standing giving remarks at the centenary dedication of William's sitting Lincoln.
I wanted to bring you a replication of the invitation the legislature sent inviting the not yet sworn in President of the United States to come and speak to them. And that's the reason why Lincoln stopped here 50 years before this statue was put here.
First of all, Guy, you know, we had a great ceremony. We had the Lieutenant Governor there, Kim Guadagno. We had Mayor Booker. We had Congressman Payne. Of course, Governor Byrne was there, you know, Clement Price. We did have a great program, and we did have a lot of kids from our vocational school there. We had about 100 kids there. We had 4 vocational schools, 25 from each school. And plus we gave presentations to the kids prior to our event. 100 years from now, Guy, they'll be talking about Guy Sterling. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Over half the people waiting for an organ transplant in the United States will die before they get one. You can increase your chances of getting a life-saving organ donation by joining Life Sharers. You get preferred access to the organs of other members. In return, you give fellow members first access to your organs. Membership is free and anyone can join. Join Life Sharers now. It's free and it could save your life.
I'd like to welcome Dr. Jeremy Goodman, Director of our Essex County Turtleback Zoo, and he's also our veterinarian. We get 2 for the price of 1. And that's the way I like it. I know the taxpayers like it that way too, Dr. Goodman. I'd like to welcome you to Inside Essex County, Dr. Goodman.
Thanks for having me, Joe.
I know this is no stranger to you to be on TV. You're usually on either Channel 2, 4, 7, 9, 11. So this is nothing new to you.
Now we like to get out the good word of Essex County and Turtleback Zoo wherever we can. So.
Plus we're the #1 zoo in the state of New Jersey.
Absolutely.
When I became the county exec in 9 years ago in 2003, Turtleback Zoo, of course, by the previous administration, wanted to close it down. Not for anyone's particular fault. It has to do with financial issues, and there wasn't that commitment. It wasn't a priority to the past administration. In 2003, there's no question, not only myself, but the Department of Parks, Dan Savante, we made this a priority. And there's no question we've done a great job as far as moving the zoo to where it is today. And the reason it's happened, the reason we have moved as fast as we have is because of the hiring of Dr. Goodman. And what he has done for Turtleback Zoo speaks for itself. And the staff he has around him is a first-class staff. And besides hiring, one of the first thing I gave him as far as a goal that we get accredited. And that happened. And we're going on our 5th year, and we're applying right now to get accredited again for another 5 years. Why don't you tell our audience where we're at this particular time?
Sure. Accreditation, out of over 2,000 zoos and aquariums around the country, only about 200 of them meet the gold standards of AZA accreditation by the American Association of Zoos and Aquariums. So we are the cream of the crop here in Essex County.
But why do we make that a priority? Why is it important to be accredited? Because there's so many other zoos, thousands and thousands of zoos.
Sure.
Right?
Being accredited is very important. It allows us access to incredibly rare and endangered animals. It shows our public and our all the community that we really maintain the highest standards here at our zoo, that we take the best care of our animals, whether it's our $2 million animal hospital to take care of all the creatures we have at the zoo, our conservation programs, our professional staff development, everything and everything. Really, it just shows that we are the cream of the crop and that we maintain these great standards.
Where are we at right now? Because we're applying now, and they're going to make a decision probably in September. We'll be down in Atlanta for the conference.
Sure. The AZA meets every year, and it's a 5-year cycle, like you mentioned. So we are going to have an inspection. Crew comes in from around the country and leaves no rock unturned and goes through all of our files, all of our records, and they're going to be very impressed with what they see. The things that we've done here at Essex County's Turtleback Zoo over the last 5 years, they're really going to be impressed.
One of the things that I'm most proud of is when we went 5 years ago to get accredited, I was questioned over and over, and it's very strange for an elected leader to go there to address the AZA board members, and I think it was an experience for them, but also for me too, for us coming together, because I hold ourselves at a very high standard. And what I'm very, very proud of, I mean, Dr. Goodman takes care, of course, the animals and their needs and making sure they're taken care of the way they're supposed to take care of. But I have to make sure on the financial situation that we're bringing in enough money to afford to do the things that you like to do, Dr. Goodman. And I could tell you, in New Jersey, on the East Coast, this zoo, Turtleback Zoo, is self-sufficient. It costs us approximately $1.8 million to operate. We bring in $3.1 million. But that's the way we do all our projects. And the reason for that is we want to make sure we're never in that situation like we were in 1995 when attendance went down and there was no revenue coming in. And how we've done it, just by not by emissions, we've done it by, why don't we talk about the carousel?
Sure. Everything we design, obviously, we're here for recreation and education, but we run our zoo like a business, like it should be. And we have a number of revenue generators, whether it's our pony rides, our carousel, our interactive aviary where you can feed the birds.
The carousel brings in $250,000 a year, $2 a ride.
Absolutely, and families love it. It's a great attraction for all ages.
How about the bird aviary? That's one of my favorite. When we're in Bergen County, so we got to get one of these bird aviaries, the feeding sticks, so the kids could go in there and feed the birds.
Absolutely, and that's one of the things that kids nowadays don't necessarily have that interaction with nature. So offering them the opportunity to come and have a bird land on them and feed them and just see the awe on their faces and the wows, and it's just an incredible experience, and it also brings in revenue.
How about the mini golf course?
The mini golf has been another great addition. Once again, going off the theme of the zoo with all African, our safari mini golf, and that's really helped us continue to generate revenue and offer the residents of Essex County and quite frankly all of New Jersey and beyond a great destination for recreation.
Last year we were open approximately 6 weeks. We brought in approximately $86,000. This year is the same thing. I can't tell you. The people are just so excited about going out there and play because it's a family activity. It's very cheap, very reasonable. It's right there on Northfield Avenue, and people enjoy going out there playing. We're open right now from 10 to 9, Monday through Sunday, and I invite everyone to go out and play. How about the zip lines? There's something new that we're going to be opening up, hopefully late August.
I'm so excited about the zip lines and our rope.
Am I going to be able to go on it? I'm about 225.
You make the cut, Jeff.
I make the cut?
No problem.
Barely.
As long as you're not afraid of heights.
Not that I am.
But it's a great course, our treetop adventure course. It'll have 25 obstacles, some as high as 30 feet up in the trees, and really a great course. And once again, we try to sneak a little bit of education in, talk about how researchers in the rainforest, are up in the treetops and traveling on rope bridges similar to what we're going to have, and traversing trees with zip lines, and it's really going to be phenomenal. It's nothing like that in this part of the country.
In fact, there's no zip lines in New Jersey. I think we're going to be the first ones here. Am I right?
I believe we are going to be the first one with a full ropes course and zip line open to the public.
And every dollar that's generated is going to go to Turtleback Zoo. And it's going to be great to have in the backyard. You don't have to go to Pennsylvania or go to Ohio or to go to Florida. You'll be able to go right here, right in Essex County, to be able to enjoy that. How about the big cat exhibit?
Sure, another one of my favorites. We're bringing in some big kitties this year, and the zoo has had cougars and leopards before, but now we're going to be bringing in endangered snow leopards and jaguars, and Big Cat Country is going to be our newest animal exhibit up at the top of the zoo in our North American section, and once again open for operation for people to enjoy come this September.
So the zip lines is going to be opening up about August 20th. with the big cats, it's September 1st. And how about the Boathouse Restaurant over at Orange Reservoir?
We're really excited about that one as well. It's a beautiful facility that's under construction, planning on opening in October. And it's also part of the South Mountain Recreation Complex, which is really New Jersey's #1 destination. And we really have everything with the restaurant now.
The restaurant, in fact, is McClune's going to be opening up, and we're going to be opening up approximately around October 15th. And it's going to be a beautiful complex. It's going to sit over the Orange Reservoir there, and it's in some place where you're going to be able to enjoy, whether going to Turtleback or going to Cody Arena or playing mini golf, just getting something to eat. That's what that area has been missing for a very, very long time, and we're going to have it there. But let's talk about the 50th anniversary, what we're doing. A new exhibit, a sea lion exhibit.
Right. The Turtleback Zoo has not had sea lions for well over 20 years now, and the old sea lion exhibit used to be where we have our penguins currently, and certainly not up to today's modern standards. So we're in the process of designing right now an incredible new exhibit to be themed very similar to the Monterey Bay Wharfs, where you see sea lions up on the piers and whatnot. And it's really going to be located in the heart of our zoo, and it's going to be the centerpiece of the zoo, and it's really the largest endeavor that Turtleback Zoo has really undertaken to this point.
And the reason we're building this is for the 50th anniversary, which is, of course, June of 2013.
That's correct. Zoo turns 50. It's our golden anniversary, and we have a lot in store for our 50th anniversary, and unveiling this new exhibit is really going to be the highlight of it.
You know, we're going to be going out to bid in August. We're going to be starting construction next September. And by June of 2013, this exhibit will be open. But also we have something else where we're going to be feeding what? Stingrays?
Stingrays and sharks, Joe.
Stingrays and sharks.
It's totally safe.
How much is the animals fee? How much? How much?
So once again, it's another revenue generator.
$2?
$2 for a little cup of fish, and
okay.
You can have sharks eating out of the palm of your hands.
Well, listen, we have something here in this entire complex we're very proud, but there's no question I'm very proud of Turtleback Zoo and where we're going, and it's all because of the great leadership that we have here. Dr. Jeremy Goodman and his staff has truly done an outstanding job, and the thing that I'm most proud of is that the zoo and this entire complex is self-sufficient, and it's never going to be a burden for the taxpayers of Essex County. So Dr. Goodman, I just want to thank you for being on our show. You are truly the best.
Thank you, Joe.
That wraps up another edition of Inside Essex County. I'm Joe DiVincenzo, Essex County Executive. Together, we will continue to put Essex County first.